Hi, I'm Pilma. In this video, we will talk about 3 ways to be your own emotional healer. This is especially important for those going through the dark night of the soul. If you were able to watch my video called The 7 Stages of Spiritual Awakening, the dark night is stage 3 of the experience. There it's called healing and purging. It's a difficult stage but also grace-filled. The 3 ways that I will be sharing with you are based on what I've applied on myself as I went through the dark night. So we will talk about emotional wounds, where they came from, and how to remove them. I hope it helps. First, let's clarify emotional wound. An emotional wound is like a coal, a burning coal. Like when somebody steps on it, it's very painful. We have that burning coal within us. It comes from an unhealed memory of a traumatic experience. So that when somebody or a situation reminds us of that experience, it brings up the memory of that feeling again. So we tend to react to a present situation in a bloated manner because we are not reacting to just that experience. We are reliving an experience of the past. So it's a wound that is still open. The most painful of these wounds come from our childhood. It was Dr. Bruce Lipton who credited the Jesuits, saying, "Give me a child from 0 to 7 and I will tell you the man or woman that this will become." When a child looks at you, it does not process the experience. It learns right away, and therefore everything that it sees, it smells, hears, goes to the unconscious right away. It's not able to process the information. Those very painful memories have equivalent feelings that become part of that person's beliefs, unconscious beliefs, which determine our behaviors. Some may have had no memory of these traumatic wounds of the early age. Their childhood memories are beautiful until teenage, when something happens and everything changes. Your whole perspective of the world, your feeling about yourself has changed. As they say, as within is without. Everything that is inside you comes out through physical ailments, through experiences, through relationships. The good news is we can heal ourselves because we are built in such a way that we can. This image reflects what science tells us about our mind. It has the conscious and the subconscious. Like the iceberg, what we can see, what we are conscious of, what we're aware of, is just a fraction of everything that we know. Much of the iceberg is submerged in water. We consciously observe, study, analyze situations. But these decisions are based on the established beliefs, values, emotions, habits that we have already built through the years. We're not even aware of it. We just know because the new things that come into our awareness are rejected if they are different from what we believe in, from our values, from what we feel. Like when someone shows us love, we do not recognize it. We're not able to accept it because it's different from what we know. If our childhood is full of violence, abuse, so we have learned that we're not worthy of love, so we reject that new experience. In that way, our subconscious is running our life. The good news is that imagination is also in our subconscious, so that when we dream, when we're in the flow, doing something that we really love, it comes out naturally because we're tapping into our subconscious. We already know it. And so you don't have to take an effort to think. And this has been proven by famous people, famous artists like Mozart, who would tell you that when he creates music, everything just flows. He just writes everything fast, furiously, because it's inspired. He's not just tapping his imagination, his intuition is open. And intuition is the language of the soul, and the soul knows everything about our experiences in the past, in this lifetime, and beyond, and in other lifetimes. Intuition is the communication tool of spirits. Notice that in this image, the greater part of it is submerged in water, like our subconscious. Imagine water as spirit, as God, and therefore, through it, we're able to retrieve information that we need to know in this lifetime. Through our imagination and intuition, we can know what to do in order to heal ourselves, but we need to know how to use it. In this video, we'll learn to use it. For those of you who are imaginative, the healing exercises are good for you. Imagination is very useful in healing moments. Let's start with the first method. It's called contemplation. In contemplation, you enter into a scene and move there. See yourself. Interact with whoever is in that scene. This is most effective for major wounds, those that are caused by childhood trauma. So here you come face to face with the perpetrator. The objective is for you as the adult to unite with your child self in order for him or her to feel safe again. Contemplation has the characteristic of grace. This is led by your soul. Your ego will be too afraid to enter into this exercise. And because it is grace, it is led by soul, I can only discuss the main features of the journey. When you go into it, you will have your own unique way. The elements that I'll be discussing here are major portions that will enable you to unite with your child self. You would know that you're ready to enter into it when the feelings, the memory of that particular event keeps on coming back to you. You feel anger, you feel fear. That means it's ready to emerge and it wants to be healed. So catch that, follow your intuition. Your intuition could lead you to certain activities that could be moments with children and you enjoy their company so that you get in touch with your child. So that's when your inner child is inviting you to come to her, to come to him. When you feel the nudge to do meditation, just follow it, follow it. Do not fight against it. When you enter this meditation, you will see yourself going back to the scene. Then go back to the scene. Allow yourself to go back to the scene of the crime. And then just be. Observe the surroundings. Who is there? You will see your child self there. You might be a teenager at that time. It depends when it happens. Are you in a room? Where are you? This child could be facing your perpetrator. So approach your child self with that desire to be healed. Invite your child self to forgive your perpetrator. You could do it together, or you could do it yourself as the adult. And then encourage your child self to do the same and wait until he or she is ready. When you feel that she's very hesitant, then tell her something that you know will make her happy. Like, for example, forgive the other person so that we can live here, we can leave this place. I want you to come with me. Remember what you love to do as a child, what is very important for you as a child, and tell that child that you will do this when you're together. You want to travel, you want to do mission work, and you'll be together doing that. You know, you're sure that your child self will like it because when you were a child, you remember that's what you wanted to do. So remind the child about her dream and then watch your child become enthusiastic, looking at you, wanting to be with you. And so this child will approach the perpetrator and say, I need to go. I forgive you. Watch your child come back to you and ready to leave the place. So you now go, you and your child self will slowly get out of the place. Once you leave, look at it and say, this place will never bother me again. So you leave, observe your child. She's very happy, she's very excited, she's free, and like any child, you notice how cheerful she is. She's always been like that. And you have this desire to be united with her, that she enters you. Once you have that desire, say it. I'd like my child self, I'd like you to enter, come into me. And the child self will do that. And you will feel her enthusiasm, her excitement. Now, talk about how you're going to go home. You want to get a ride? Do you have your car with you? Imagine yourself going home. When you reach home, allow yourself to just express whatever you feel. You may shout, I'm home, I'm healed. Any expression, that sense of achievement, that sense of freedom. And finally, welcome your child self into your adult life. Show him or her your room, your house. Have a conversation with your child. Experience that oneness with the child. Promise him, promise her that you will always be together, that he or she will always be safe, and you will be doing things together. So you and your child are now free. And when you get into that state of being united with your child, that's the redemption. You have redeemed your child. That's the healing. In that, the cheerful child is back, no longer afraid, and united, it will transform you into a secure person, renewed, strong, beautiful, and empowered. You can also use contemplation for adult wounds. This is a shorter version of it. There are experiences and feelings that we bring with us and duplicate them in any relationship. You might notice yourself having a pattern of rejection, betrayal, or feelings of guilt. So any experience, any feeling that tends to repeat themselves. The objective here is to forgive and release pains from adult experiences. So you can do this again in meditation. When there's a situation, person, or feeling that keeps on entering your mind, then you're ready. It means they are emerging because they want to be healed. So go into meditation. Start with the usual breathing exercises until you're relaxed. Focus on your breathing. And then imagine facing that person who has hurt you the most. Picture a particular exchange. What is he saying? What are you feeling? Allow yourself for a moment to stay with it. Cry if you must, but don't stay with it too long, just a few moments. And then transition into forgiveness, even when you're not yet ready. In psychology, when you say something to another 3 times, that person will understand it. So here, you are removing the pain through forgiveness. You can say, I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. And then allow yourself to see your contribution in the situation, how you participated in the cycle. And then say to yourself, I forgive myself, I forgive myself, I forgive myself. But if there's none that comes out, you're really just a receiver of that negative experience. You don't have to go through that. You just forgive the person and then release it. Imagine yourself saying goodbye, waving, smiling, or just imagine the person leaving. Immediately, you can sense a difference in your breathing. You feel light. Now, if your thoughts lead you to other people, just continue it. Once you see the face of the other person, immediately the experience that go with it also come up and the feelings too. You don't have to stay there. Just go into forgiveness, saying, I forgive you 3 times. I forgive myself 3 times, and then release it. Continue it as long as there are people that come into your mind. In that way, it can be exhausting because you're dealing with emotions. Go only as far as you can. Don't force yourself. You can always have another meditation session for that. The benefit is that this person will not affect you in the same manner anymore because you have released it. It's possible that your insights will lead you to really release the person physically in your life. Otherwise, there'll be a change in dynamics because you don't react the same way anymore, and that person will not get the same satisfaction as he or she had before. Of course, if it's an important relationship, then you can change the conversation that is more compassionate and constructive. I think that's enough information for one sitting. It's a major technique for healing. If you resonate with it, I suggest that you try it and then tell me about it. In the next video, we'll talk about part 2, which will cover methods 2 and 3, which will help you build the skill necessary to handle everyday feelings. Meanwhile, take care. I send you love, peace, courage. See you on part 2.